Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab. Today's podcast, English Listening Practice Podcast, topic name is Common English Listening Traps to Avoid. We're diving into something absolutely vital today, something that touches almost everyone learning English, mastering listening. It's a skill so many of us grapple with. You know that feeling? Like you're trying to piece together this super complex jigsaw puzzle, maybe even with your eyes closed sometimes.
Totally. That's a great analogy.
But here's the thing, it really doesn't have to be that bewildering. Our mission today is, well, to cut through all that confusion. We want to shine a light on the common pitfalls, the traps that, trip listeners up again and again.
Yeah.
And then give you a really practical, engaging guide to sidestep them.
With real confidence.
Exactly. Think of it as maybe finding the shortcuts on that puzzle.
Exactly. A shortcut to actually understanding what you hear, turning that struggle into, well, a much smoother ride.
Right. In English, we all know it's this incredibly vibrant, complex language. Sometimes it's downright quirky, isn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's just packed with this amazing variety of accents from all over the world. And then there's the slang that's always changing.
Gets you on your toes.
It does. And those words, the homophones that sound so alike but mean completely different things, they can really catch you out. So yeah, whether you're listening to a podcast like this one or watching a movie or just chatting with a friend, trying to decode spoken English can feel like solving a mystery where some of the key clues are missing.
That's it, exactly.
But here's the good news, the insights we're going to share today. They'll help you spot these tricky challenges much earlier. And understanding them doesn't just prepare you, it really empowers you. You'll be able to comprehend, interpret, and, respond with so much more confidence.
That's the goal.
So we're going to really dig into the most frequent listening traps, explore why they happen, the sort of linguistic reasons behind them.
The root causes.
Exactly, the root causes. And then lay out some really actionable strategies, things you can actually do to avoid them. It's all about equipping you with the right tools to, well, truly unlock your English listening potential. Understanding the complexity. Why English listening feels like a puzzle.
Okay, so let's peel back those layers then.
Yeah.
Why is English, even though it's everywhere, used globally, why is it such a unique challenge for listening? What makes it feel like this dense forest sometimes? For me, one of the biggest initial hurdles has got to be just the sheer diversity of it, how it's spoken.
Absolutely.
You've got accents, dialects from literally everywhere. A single word like, water.
Yeah, or butter, like you said before.
Right, butter. It can sound so incredibly different depending on if the speaker's from, say, Texas or London or Sydney.
Completely different.
And the variety, if your ear is only tuned to one specific way of speaking, can be really disorienting, can't it?
Oh, absolutely. You've hit on a key point there. The auditory landscape of English isn't just varied, it's a masterclass in these phonetic shifts and regional flavors. It's fascinating, actually, how our brains work when learning. We often create this sort of template based on the first few voices we really listen to.
Right, the default setting.
Kind of. And when you hear an accent that deviates significantly from that template, your brain has to work overtime. It expends extra cognitive energy just trying to match those new sounds to the words it already knows.
So it's not that you're bad at listening.
Not at all. It's a totally natural response to encountering a new pattern. Your brain's just adjusting. And then beyond just the sounds, you've got, as you mentioned, the dynamic nature of slang and idioms. These aren't like fixed dictionary entries. They're living things, always changing, sometimes faster than fashion trends. And the real kicker, they often make absolutely no sense if you interpret them literally. You can't break down, kick the bucket into its parts to get the meaning.
Right, you need the cultural key.
You do, and that creates this constantly moving target for listeners. It makes it really tough to grasp the actual intention behind the words if you don't already have that cultural context.
Yeah, it really is like trying to hit a moving target, sometimes in the dark. And then you add in homophones.
Ah, yes. The sound-alikes.
Those really tricky words that sound identical, or maybe just incredibly similar, but mean totally different things, like two, and two, or see and see, or there.
Classic examples.
Without enough context, they can just so easily lead you down the wrong path. You might genuinely think someone's talking about, writing a letter when they mean turning right at the corner.
Exactly. Or the bear versus bear example is great. A furry animal or an empty space. Very different meanings from the same sound.
It really highlights how listening is so much more than just hearing sounds. It's about this rapid-fire meaning-making process. Semantic disambiguation, as you said.
Precisely. And looking at it analytically, these features, the accents, the slang, the homophones, they don't exist in isolation. They actually combine, they interact to create that very puzzle-like experience we're talking about. When your brain is trying to juggle all these varied inputs,
It gets overwhelmed.
it can, yeah. Especially if you're falling into the trap of trying to decode every single sound, every syllable. Cognitive research shows that becomes exhausting really fast. It's inefficient.
So the goal isn't zero difficulty.
No, definitely not. That's unrealistic for any language learner, frankly, even for native speakers sometimes. The goal is more about recognizing the common patterns of struggle, understanding why these things are tricky.
Okay.
Because once you understand the mechanism, you can start to navigate it. What feels like an obstacle course starts to feel more like a path you can actually walk down. It's about getting the tools to handle the complexity, not eliminate it. Learning to hear the forest, not just obsess over every single tree.
I like that. Hearing the forest, not the trees. Makes sense.
Too.
Deconstructing common English listening traps and their solutions. Okay, so with that groundwork laid, let's really dive into these specific traps, the ones that can seriously derail your listening progress if you're not aware of them.
Yeah.
First up, trap, #1, the pitfall of obsessing over every single word.
The big one.
It really is. It's such a common habit, and I often think of it like trying to count every single raindrop during a heavy storm.
Yeah, impossible and pointless.
Exactly. It's exhausting, and ultimately, it doesn't help. When you hyper-focus on each individual word, trying to catch and decipher everything, you almost always end up missing the bigger picture, the main message, or even just the speaker's feeling, their tone. It's like staring so hard at one tiny pixel that you completely miss the image on the screen. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense. And it's a profound trap because, well, native English speakers often talk fast. And we naturally slur words together, we drop sounds, that's called elision, or we might even mumble sometimes. It's just natural speech flow.
Yeah.
Now, combine that natural speed and messiness with a listener trying desperately to catch every single syllable, boom, cognitive overload. Research in psycholinguistics clearly shows our working memory. The part of the brain holding incoming info just can't handle that much detailed data all at once.
It gets jammed.
It gets jammed. And while it's busy trying to decode the tiny bits, the main meaning just flies right by.
Right.
And here's the interesting part. Linguists point out that native speakers don't process every sound. We actually anticipate maybe 70% or so of what we hear based on context and what we already know.
So if you're trying to catch 100% of the sounds,
You're actually fighting against how your brain naturally wants to process language. You're making it harder for yourself.
wow. Yeah.
Plus, let's be honest, not every word is important. So many words are just fillers, and they're like, sort of
And you use them all the time.
all the time. They don't carry the core meaning. So focusing on them is, well, it's just wasted effort. Counterproductive, even.
Okay, that's really clear.
Yeah.
So how do we break free from this? How do we avoid this trap? The main strategy then sounds like it's about prioritizing the core idea.
Exactly. Shift your focus. Move away from trying to get every single word for word, and instead aim to just grasp the speaker's main point, their fundamental message.
So someone's talking about their vacation.
Right. Your goal is just, was it good, bad, relaxing, adventurous? You don't need to remember the name of every restaurant they ate at.
Get the gist.
Get the gist. That's the key.
Okay, and building on that.
Well, you need to actively cultivate active listening. What that means is deliberately training your ear to pick out the keywords, the pivotal phrases. These are usually the nouns, the verbs, maybe adjectives or adverbs that get a bit more stress or emphasis.
Like finding the important words in the sentence.
Precisely, like a treasure hunt for meaning. Think about the sentence, I completely forgot to pack my charger. The really essential words there are forgot, pack, and charger. If you catch those three, you understand the main problem, right?
Yeah, you get it, even if you missed completely or two.
Exactly. You're building this robust mental framework based on the key information.
But what happens if you do miss a word? Or maybe a whole phrase? I know that can trigger a bit of panic.
It definitely can. And that's where leveraging contextual cues becomes so important. Don't let that one missed word derail everything. Stay calm. Look around, metaphorically speaking. The rest of the conversation, the speaker's tone of voice, maybe their facial expression or gestures if you can see them, these often fill in the blanks.
Ah, okay. Like if someone says, I was so, mumble after the party, but they yawn dramatically.
Perfect example. You'd guess tired, right? The yawn, the context of party. They give you the meaning even without the clear word.
Got it. Context is king.
It really is. And this all leads to a really crucial mindset shift. You absolutely have to embrace imperfection.
Ooh, that sounds liberating.
It is. Realizing that getting 100% comprehension isn't necessary. In fact, it's often not even realistic, for effective communication takes so much pressure off.
Yeah.
Aim for, say, a solid 70-80% understanding. That's usually more than enough. Think about eating a pizza. You don't need every single crumb to feel satisfied, right?
No. A few good slices do the trick.
Exactly. 70-80% understanding is like having those good slices. It's enough for real connection, real understanding.
Love the pizza analogy.
Okay.
Let's make this concrete. Give us a vivid scenario.
Okay, imagine you're watching a British comedy show. A character throws their hands up and says, "Blimey, I'm absolutely knackered after that kerfuffle at the pub."
Right. Very British.
Very. Now, if you get stuck trying to figure out exactly what blimey means, or knackered, or kerfuffle,
People miss the point.
you might totally miss the simple message. They're just really tired after some kind of minor chaos or argument at the bar. The key is picking up the feeling, the weariness, the slight frustration. You get the core meaning without needing a dictionary for every single word.
Okay, that makes sense. And a practical exercise for this.
Try this. Grab a short audio clip, maybe a minute from a podcast or a news report online. Listen to it and then try to jot down only the main ideas, the central points, not word for word.
Just the core message.
Just the core message. Doing this regularly trains our brain to filter out the less essential stuff and focus on what really matters for comprehension. It really helps build that skill over time.
Great tip. Okay, let's move to the next one. Trap, #2, the peril of overlooking accents and dialects.
The wonderful world of English variety.
It is wonderful, but it can be a real challenge. English isn't just one sound, is it? It's this huge family of accents, dialects, each with its own unique rhythm and pronunciation. And if you've mostly heard, say, standard American English, and then you suddenly encounter someone with a strong Scottish accent, or maybe Indian English or Australian English, it can feel like you suddenly switched languages entirely. It can be really disorienting.
It absolutely can be. And this is a real trap because accents don't just add flavor. They fundamentally change how words sound, sometimes really dramatically. Think about schedule. An American might say schedule.
Right.
A Brit often says shedule. Quite different.
Yeah.
And then dialects can bring in completely different words or grammar structures. Think y'all in the American South, or how's it going, mate, in Australia.
Things you might not expect.
Exactly. And if you're not prepared for these variations, it genuinely can feel like you're listening to a different language. Your brain is trying to match sounds to known words. And if the sounds are unexpected, that matching process slows right down.
Okay, so how do we get better prepared for this incredible, but sometimes confusing variety?
The number one strategy has to be seeking diverse exposure. You have to actively listen to English from different places.
Makes sense. Don't just stick to one source.
Right. Use podcasts, movies, TV shows, YouTube channels. Deliberately mix it up. Watch a British baking show one day, then an American sitcom the next. Listen to a news podcast from Australia, then one from Canada. Actively notice the differences.
Train your ear deliberately.
Precisely. And beyond just general exposure, it really helps to try and identify common accent patterns. Many accents, while unique, have predictable features. For example, lots of British accents tend to drop the R sound at the end of words like car or water.
Right, non-rhotic.
Exactly. Whereas many American accents pronounce that R very clearly. Recognizing these kinds of common patterns, like how vowels might shift or certain consonants sound different, helps your brain adjust more quickly next time you hear that accent.
It builds a kind of mental shortcut.
It does. It builds a predictive model in your head.
And this next point feels really important for confidence. Dismiss self-blame.
Oh, hugely important.
If you find an accent difficult to understand, it absolutely does not mean your English is bad.
No, not at all.
It just means you need more exposure to that specific variety.
Yeah.
Honestly, even native speakers sometimes struggle with accents they're not used to.
Absolutely. I remember trying to follow a conversation in a very strong Newfoundland accent once, even as a native speaker. It took real concentration.
So be kind to yourself. It's normal.
Completely normal. And one more practical tip. When you're watching videos, employ subtitles judiciously.
Judiciously, meaning not all the time.
Right. When you first encounter a tricky accent, Turn on the English subtitles. Let them help you connect the sounds to the words.
Okay.
But once you start feeling a bit more comfortable, turn them off. Challenge your ear to do the work without the visual crutch. It's about gradually increasing the difficulty.
Got it. So, a scenario for this accent trap.
Okay, imagine you're talking to a colleague from Scotland and they say, "Ugh, I'm pure gutted about the match result. It was a wee bit of a disaster.
Okay, lots of unique words there.
Right, pure gutted, wee bit, If you're not familiar, you might be lost. But if you've had some exposure, you might know cure often means really. Gutted means very disappointed. We means small, and I means yes.
Okay.
So putting those pieces together with the context of match result, you can figure out they're just expressing strong disappointment about a game.
Makes sense. The exposure helps decode it.
Exactly. And for a practical exercise, pick an English-speaking region you're less familiar with, maybe Ireland, South Africa, New Zealand. And for a week, try listen mostly to content from there. Find podcasts, watch some local TV clips on YouTube, listen to music.
Immerse yourself.
Immerse yourself for a short period. It really accelerates your ear's ability to adapt and makes those accents feel much less intimidating over time.
Great idea. Okay, moving on to trap, #3. The hazard of homophones and similar sounding words.
That sounded like strike again.
They really do. English is famous, or maybe infamous, for these words that sound exactly the same. True homophones are just very, very similar, but have totally different meanings. We mentioned there, or here and here, allowed, and allowed.
Which and which. Flower and flower. The list goes on.
It does. And they can cause real confusion, especially if the context isn't super clear immediately. It's like your ears are playing tricks on you.
It feels like that, doesn't it? And it's a genuine snare because when words sound the same, your brain has to make a super quick choice about which meaning fits. If it picks the wrong one, your whole understanding of the sentence can go sideways.
Right. I need more flour versus I need more flowers. Very different shopping lists.
Very different. And this problem gets worse with fast speech, or if there's background noise, making those subtle sound differences even harder to catch accurately. Your brain makes its best guess, and sometimes it guesses wrong.
So how do we navigate this minefield? What are the strategies?
Well, the first step, maybe obvious but still crucial, is to actively master common homophones. Make a list of the pairs or triplets that frequently trip you up, like accept, effect, principle.
The ones you personally find tricky.
Exactly. And then practice them. Say them in sentences, write them down, maybe use online quizzes. Really drill them so your ear gets better at telling them apart instantly.
Okay, active study helps. What else?
Beyond just memorizing lists, you absolutely have to prioritize contextual clues. This is huge. The words surrounding the homophone, the overall topic of the conversation, the situation, these usually give you massive hints about the correct meaning.
Like your seaside example earlier, meet me at the pier, not pier.
Exactly. If you're talking about going to the beach, pier, the structure makes sense. Pier, to look closely, doesn't. Context guides you 90% of the time.
And what if the context isn't clear or you're just really unsure?
Then please, embrace clarification. Don't be afraid to ask.
It's okay to ask.
It's absolutely okay. In a conversation, if you're genuinely confused, just say something like, "Sorry, did you mean sun as in the star or sun as in a child?" Native speakers do this too when they mishear. It shows you're engaged and want to understand correctly. It's not a sign of weakness.
That's really good to know. Takes the pressure off.
Definitely. And another thing, whenever you can, incorporate visual aids. Watching videos with subtitles, for example, or using an app that shows the text while you listen to audio. This helps solidify the link between the sound and the correct spelling and meaning.
Seeing it helps log it in.
It does. It creates a stronger connection in your brain.
Okay, let's have that vivid scenario again for homophones.
Right. The baking one works well. Your friend says, "I need to buy some flour for the cake." If you mishear flour as flour, you might picture them sticking roses on top of the cake.
Which is probably not what they mean.
Probably not. The context of baking a cake strongly points to flour, the ingredient. Without considering that context, you get a very strange mental image.
Yeah, context saves the day again.
Yeah.
And a practical exercise.
Try some targeted practice. Find online quizzes specifically designed for homophones. There are tons out there. They'll give you a sentence with a blank, and you have to choose the right word based on sound and context. Or even better, grab a friend or language partner. Create sentences with tricky homophones and test each other. Make it a game. It makes the learning more active and fun.
Love it. Okay, next up. Trap, #4, the distraction of background noise.
Ah, the sounds of the real world.
Exactly. Real-life English conversations rarely happen in soundproof booths, do they?
Unfortunately not.
It's usually the coffee shop buzz, the office chatter, maybe the TV is on, traffic noise. These external sounds can make listening incredibly difficult. It's not just about hearing the words, it's about filtering out all the other competing noise. I struggle with this sometimes myself.
It's a genuine challenge for everyone. And it's a significant snare because that background noise directly competes with the speaker's voice. It masks sounds, makes it harder to hear intonation. Your brain has to work incredibly hard to filter out the chatter, the music, the clatter. This filtering process, cognitive scientists call it the cocktail party effect, takes a lot of mental energy.
Right, it's exhausting after a while.
It really is. It can lead to mental fatigue very quickly, causing you to miss information or just give up trying to understand. Your brain is basically doing complex audio engineering in real time.
So how do we train our brains to be better audio engineers in noisy situations?
Well, counterintuitively perhaps, you need to train in authentic settings.
Practice in the noise.
Yes, deliberately practice listening in noisy places. Put on a podcast while you're cooking with the fan on. Watch a YouTube video in a busy cafe with headphones maybe, but letting some noise in. This helps build your brain's resilience. It gets better at focusing on the target speech and ignoring the distractions. It's like noise resistance training for your ears.
Like lifting weights for your brain's filter.
Exactly. Another very practical tool, utilize noise-canceling headphones. When you really need to focus maybe for language study, an important online call, or just enjoying a movie, good noise-canceling headphones can be a lifesaver. They create a much cleaner sound environment for you.
Good investment potentially.
Potentially, yes. And for face-to-face conversations, remember, it's okay to request conversational adjustments.
Don't just nod and smile if you can't hear.
Please don't. It's perfectly fine to say, hey, it's a bit loud in here. Could we maybe move over there? Or simply, sorry, could you speak up just a little bit? Most people are very understanding and want you to hear them. They'll appreciate you making the effort.
Good point.
And one more tip for in-person noisy chats. Observe the speaker's lips. Watching their mouth movements provides extra visual clues. Our brains are actually amazing at combining lip-reading cues with the sounds we do hear to fill in the gaps caused by noise. It's a multisensory approach.
Interesting. Okay, scenario time for noise.
All right, picture yourself at a really loud party. Someone is excitedly telling you about their epic hike.
Okay, music blasting, people shouting.
Exactly. You might only clearly catch the words epic and hike, but you also see their big smile, their animated gestures, you hear their enthusiastic tone. So even with just those fragments, you can infer they had an amazing, adventurous time hiking. You get the main feeling, the core idea, despite the noise interference.
You piece it together from multiple clues.
Precisely. And for practice, try listening to a podcast episode while walking down a busy street or sitting in a park where there's ambient noise. Afterwards, try to summarize the main points you caught. Start with just a couple of minutes, then gradually increase the time as your ability to focus improves. It builds that mental stamina for real-world listening.
Makes sense. Building tolerance. Okay, trap #5, the dependency on subtitles.
Ah, the double-edged sword.
It really is, isn't it? Subtitles are incredibly helpful when you're starting out. They bridge that gap between written and spoken English.
Definitely valuable early on.
But, and this is the trap, relying on them too much can actually stop your listening skills from developing independently. It's like always using training wheels on a bike. They help you start, but you'll never learn to balance properly if you don't eventually take them off.
That's a perfect analogy, and it's a critical snare because of how our brains work. When subtitles are on, your brain naturally defaults to reading. It's often easier and faster.
Right, reading is usually easier than listening.
It is for many learners. So you might develop great English reading skills, but your listening comprehension without that text support can lag behind. Over time, you can feel really stuck, like you just can't understand without seeing the words. It becomes a crutch, holding back your listening progress.
Okay, so how do we ditch the training wheels gracefully? How do we break free?
The key is gradual weaning from subtitles. Don't just go cold turkey necessarily. Start by watching something with English subtitles on. Then maybe watch short segments, say 5 minutes with them on, and immediately rewatch that same segment with them off.
Reinforcing the sounds you just saw.
Exactly. It helps connect the auditory input with the meaning you just confirmed visually. Repeat this process.
Okay, what else?
Treat subtitles as a contingency, not the default. When you're watching a movie or show, maybe leave them on, but make a real conscious effort to listen first. Only glance down at the text if you're genuinely lost.
So train yourself to rely on your ears first.
Yes. Make listening the primary activity and reading the backup plan. Like trying to use a map only when you're truly stuck, not following it line by line from the start.
Got it.
And to really give your ears a workout, you need to engage with audio-only content.
No visual support at all.
None. Podcasts, audiobooks, radio shows, they force you to rely solely on your hearing. There's no text to fall back on. Try finding things with clear speech first, maybe short news reports like NPR's Up First or BBC Minute. They're often well-articulated and concise.
Good starting point.
And a really fun way to practice is to re-engage with familiar material.
Rewatch something you love.
Exactly. Pick a movie or a TV show you've seen before, maybe multiple times, and watch it again, but this time without subtitles. Because you already know the plot and the characters, your brain isn't working hard to follow the story. All its energy can go into deciphering the dialogue. It's a surprisingly effective listening exercise.
I like that. Less pressure. Okay, scenario for the subtitle trap.
Imagine you've been binge-watching, say, The Crown, with subtitles on, and you feel like you understand everything perfectly.
Following all the royal drama.
Right. But then you try listening to a history podcast discussing the same events with no transcript, and suddenly you feel lost. Your comprehension drops significantly.
That gap reveals the dependency.
Exactly. That difference highlights an over-reliance on reading. So the test is, try watching an episode of The Crown you've already seen, but turn those subtitles off. See how much you really understand just by listening. It can be quite revealing.
Good self-assessment. And a practical exercise.
Try this 3-step approach with a short video, 5-10 minutes. Watch it once with subtitles, just to get the gist and understand it fully. Then watch it a second time with subtitles again, but this time consciously focus on the audio. Really try to match the sounds to the words you're reading.
Okay.
Finally, watch it a third time with no subtitles at all.
Right.
See how much more you understand compared to if you just watched it cold without subs. Compare your comprehension across the 3 viewings.
Nice. Progressive challenge.
Yeah.
Okay, trap number 6. Trap #6. The panic induced by fast speech.
The speed demons.
Right. Native English speakers, myself included sometimes, we often talk really fast. It can feel like we're racing to finish our sentences. And we use tons of contractions. We link words together. That quick delivery can just feel like this overwhelming flood of sound. Not distinct words, just noise.
It really can feel that way. And it's a major challenge because fast speech naturally causes words to blend together, to morph. It makes it hard to pick out individual words. Like, I'm gonna go becomes imanaga.
Right. Sounds like one word.
Exactly. That's connected speech and action sounds getting dropped or changed when words run together. Now, if you hear that blur of sound and panic sets in,
You freeze up.
you freeze up. Your cognitive processing just stalls, and then you miss the next thing the person says, and it snowballs into total confusion. Your brain just can't keep up if it panics and tries to analyze every microsound in that rapid stream.
Okay, so how do we train our ears to handle the speed without hitting the panic button?
First, you need to familiarize yourself with natural speech patterns. Get used to how English actually sounds in casual conversation. Listen actively to talk shows, reality TV, unscripted podcasts, anywhere you can hear people chatting naturally. Shows like The Graham Norton Show or informal interviews are great for hearing how words blend and reduce at speed.
Get your ear tuned to the real rhythm.
Exactly. But while diving into natural speed is the goal, it's often wise to begin with slower content first. Use resources designed for learners like VOA Learning English or many graded readers with audio where the speech is often a bit slower and clearer. Build your confidence there first.
Start slow, then ramp up.
Makes sense. And a huge help is to master common contractions and reductions.
Like gonna and wanna.
Precisely. Knowing that going to almost always sounds like gonna want to becomes wanna, what are you becomes whatcha or what'ya.
Could've becomes coulda.
Coulda, shoulda, woulda.
Yeah.
Exactly. Understanding these predictable shortcuts means you're not listening for the full form anymore. You anticipate the reduced sound, which makes decoding fast speech much easier.
You know what to expect.
You do. And when you're listening to recordings, podcasts, audiobooks, videos, make liberal use of the pause and replay function. Utilize pause and replay. Hear a super fast bit, pause it, rewind a few seconds, play it again, maybe slower if the player allows. Listen closely to how the words connect.
Break it down.
Break it down. With consistent practice doing this, your ear genuinely adapts. It gets faster at processing those natural connections and reductions over time.
Okay, scenario for fast speech panic.
Imagine your friend rushes up to you and says, all in one breath, "Hey, I'm gonna grab a coffee before the meeting, you want to?"
Whoa, sounds like one long word.
It can,
Yeah.
especially if you're not ready for it. But if you recognize "I'm gonna," as I am going to, and "grab," often means get in this context, and you anticipate the question structure at the end.
You can figure out they're getting coffee and asking if you want one too.
Exactly. You decode the underlying structure and common reductions even within the rapid-fire delivery. It's about recognizing the patterns within the speed.
Got it. And a practical exercise.
Find a short clip of someone speaking quite fast. Maybe a sports commentator, a fast-talking comedian, or even just a fast scene from a movie. Use the playback speed controls. YouTube has them, VLC player. Many podcast apps do too. Listen first at maybe 0.75x speed. Can you understand it? Then try at 0.9x speed. Then try it at normal 1x speed. Gradually increasing the speed, like this is fantastic training for your ear. It helps it adjust incrementally.
Like speed training for listening.
Pretty much. Okay, next trap. Trap, #7. The oversight of nonverbal cues.
Ah, so this isn't just about the sounds anymore.
Not at all. Spoken words are only part of the communication picture. Tone of voice, pitch changes, facial expressions, gestures, body language. These convey a huge amount of meaning.
Especially in English conversation.
Absolutely. And if you ignore these nonverbal signals, focusing only on the literal words, you can miss the real message entirely, leading to some major misunderstandings.
Right, because the tone can completely change the meaning.
It absolutely can. This is a critical snare because English speakers rely heavily on tone and body language to signal things like sarcasm, genuine enthusiasm, doubt, annoyance. You know, someone might say, "Oh, great job," but if their tone is flat, maybe they roll their eyes slightly.
They probably mean the opposite.
Exactly. They probably mean that was terrible. If you only listen to the words "great job," you'd get the completely wrong impression. That nonverbal layer is often where the true meaning lies, especially for social nuances.
So how do we get better at reading these signals, these unspoken messages?
First, really start to attend to vocal tone shifts. Pay attention to how things are said, not just what is said. Is the voice rising at the end? That might be a question. Or signal uncertainty. Is the tone sharp and clipped? That could mean annoyance. Watch shows known for character interactions and humor that relies on delivery, maybe like Parks and Recreation or The Office. Notice how the actors use their voices to convey attitude.
Good tip. What else?
In face-to-face situations, consciously observe body language. Look at people's gestures, their posture, eye contact or lack thereof, facial expressions, are their arms crossed? That might suggest defensiveness or disagreement, even if they're saying yes. Are they leaning in? That shows interest. These visual cues add layers of meaning.
So listen with your eyes too.
Listen with your eyes, and also specifically listen for stress and intonation within sentences. English uses word stress to highlight importance and change meaning subtly. Think about, "I didn't take your book, someone else did," versus "I didn't take your book, I took someone else's."
Right, the emphasis changes everything.
Completely. You need to tune into that musicality of the language, not just the dictionary definitions of the words.
And how can we practice this?
Well, prioritize engaging with visual content. Watching videos, films, TV shows, video calls, rather than just listening to audio recordings helps immensely. It allows you to see the connection between the words, the tone, the facial expressions, the gestures all at once. TED Talks are great for this, usually clear speakers who also use gestures effectively.
Makes sense? Yeah. Seeing the whole package? Okay, vivid scenario for missing nonverbal cues.
Imagine your boss says, "Sure, take the rest of the day off," but their voice is dripping with sarcasm, their smile is tight, and they give a little eye roll as they turn away.
Okay, red flags.
Big red flags.
Yeah.
If you only heard the words, "Sure, take the day off," you might think, "Great," and head out.
Big mistake, probably.
Probably a very big mistake. The nonverbal cues, the sarcasm, the expression are screaming absolutely not okay. Ignoring them leads to a major misreading of the situation.
Yikes. Okay, and a practical exercise.
Try this. Find a short scene from a TV show, maybe a sitcom, with expressive characters. Watch it first with the sound completely muted.
Just watch the actions.
Just watch the actions, the expressions, the body language. Try to guess what's happening, what the mood is, what the relationships are. Then watch the same scene again with the sound on. See how the dialogue and tone match up with, or sometimes contrast with, the nonverbal cues you observed. It really highlights how much communication happens beyond the words.
That sounds like fun, actually. Okay, number 8. Trap. #8. The presumption of understanding slang or idioms.
The language within the language?
Totally. English is just jam-packed with slang terms and idiomatic expressions where the meaning is completely non-literal.
Phrases like "it's raining cats and dogs," or "bite the bullet," or "spill the beans."
Right. If you try to understand those word by word, you end up with some very weird mental images. Cats and dogs falling from the sky.
Exactly. It can leave listeners completely confused if they take them literally. It's like a secret code, and if you don't have the key, you're locked out.
And why is this such a particular trap?
Well, it's a tricky snare because slang and idioms are often very specific to a region or a particular social group or even just a certain context. And as we said, they change all the time.
What's cool? Today is gone tomorrow.
Pretty much. So misinterpreting an idiom or a slang term can lead you to misunderstand the entire point of what someone is saying. Or you might use one incorrectly yourself, which can be awkward. It's a big source of communication breakdown.
Okay, so how do we crack this code? How do we get fluent in slang and idioms?
First, you need to actively acquire common idioms. Make it a point to learn the ones that are used frequently. Break a leg, call it a day, get something off your chest, piece of cake. There are great resources online, idiom dictionaries, language learning websites. Make lists, use flashcards.
Be proactive about learning them.
Definitely. But you can't learn them all. So when you hear something you don't understand, seek clarification.
Again, it's okay to ask.
Absolutely. If someone says, "My boss really threw me under the bus," and you're unsure, it's fine to ask, "Sorry, what does 'threw you under the bus' mean exactly?" Honestly, native speakers often enjoy explaining these quirky expressions. They appreciate the curiosity. Don't pretend to understand when you don't.
Good advice.
And because language changes so fast, try to stay abreast of slang trends.
How do you even do that?
Well, pay attention to popular culture music, movies, social media. Online resources like Urban Dictionary can be helpful, though use them with a bit of caution. Just be aware that what was common slang last year might sound dated now.
Keep your ear to the ground.
Kind of, yeah. And always employ contextual inference. When you hear an unfamiliar phrase, look at the situation. If your friend says, "He's just pulling your leg," and they're grinning while they say it.
Probably joking.
Exactly. They're teasing you, not literally yanking on your limb. The context, the smile, the situation usually gives you strong clues about whether something is literal or figurative.
Context is key again. Okay, scenario time.
Imagine a colleague is describing a new software rollout and says, "Honestly, the whole thing was a dog's breakfast."
A dog's breakfast. Okay, sounds weird.
It does if you take it literally. But if you understand the idiom, or even just guess from the context of a problematic rollout and maybe their frustrated tone.
You guess it means it was messy, chaotic, a disaster?
Precisely. It means it was a complete mess. Understanding the idiom unlocks the real meaning, which is far from a literal canine meal.
Got it. And a practical exercise for idioms and slang.
Try this. Each week, pick maybe 5 common idioms or current slang terms you've heard or want to learn. Then actively look and listen for them during the week in shows, songs, articles, conversations. When you find one, note how it was used. And crucially, try to use each one yourself in a sentence, maybe even just talking to yourself or writing it down. That active usage really helps cement the meaning.
Make them part of your own active vocabulary.
That's the goal. Okay, nearly there. Trap, #9. The temptation to tune out when challenges arise.
The mental checkout.
Exactly. It's so natural when listening gets hard. Maybe the topic is complex, the speaker is too fast, or you're just tired to just drift off.
Let your mind wander.
Yeah, your brain just wants to disengage. But the problem is when you tune out, you miss valuable practice opportunities. You stop learning. It's like hitting pause on your progress.
Like stopping your workout right when it gets tough.
Perfect analogy. This is a subtle but really damaging snare. When your mind stops actively trying to process the language, your brain isn't adapting. It isn't building those listening muscles. Cognitive science tells us that struggling a bit, pushing through difficulty, is actually how we build new neural connections. So tuning out prevents that essential growth process.
So how do we fight that urge to mentally check out when listening gets difficult?
You need strategies to maintain engagement with incremental goals. Don't try to understand everything perfectly for an hour straight if it's tough. Set smaller, achievable targets. Like, okay, for the next 5 minutes, I'm just going to try and identify the speaker's main argument. Or I'll listen actively until the next section break, then take a quick mental pause.
Break it down into manageable chunks.
Exactly. It keeps you focused without feeling totally overwhelmed. Another great technique is practicing mental summarization. As you listen, pause mentally every so often and quickly summarize what you just heard in your own head. Like, okay, they just explained the cause, now they're moving on to the effects.
Keeps your brain actively processing.
It forces your brain to stay involved, to constantly synthesize the information, rather than just letting it wash over you.
And for longer listening tasks, like a lecture.
Definitely segment-long content. Don't try to absorb a whole hour-long lecture in one go if it's challenging.
Wow.
Listen to one section, maybe 10, 15 minutes. Pause. Take a moment to reflect, maybe jot down a key point. Then continue to the next section. Breaking it down makes it far less daunting and improves retention.
Makes sense.
And underpinning all of this is the need to cultivate curiosity. Try to shift your mindset. Instead of seeing difficult listening as a chore, try to reframe it as an opportunity. Ask yourself, what's one interesting thing I can learn here? Even if it's just one new vocabulary word or a different perspective.
Find something to engage with.
Exactly. That curiosity can pull you through the difficult patches.
Okay, scenario for tuning out.
You're listening to a podcast about, say, quantum physics. The terminology starts flying over your head and you feel your eyes glazing over thinking about lunch.
Happens to the best of us.
It does. Instead of just letting your mind drift away completely, consciously bring it back. Focus on just trying to grasp the absolute core idea. Maybe it's just quantum physics is weird but important. And try to pick out just one or two key terms you do recognize, like atoms or uncertainty. Even that minimal engagement is better than completely tuning out. You're still practicing.
Keep the connection, however small.
Yes. And for a practical exercise, choose a piece of audio that you know will be challenging for you, maybe a fast news report or a technical talk. Set a timer for just 5 minutes. Listen intently for those 5 minutes without stopping or letting yourself drift too much. Afterwards, write down just 3 things, anything at all that you understood. Start with 5 minutes, then maybe try 7, then 10. Gradually build up your listening stamina and focus for challenging material.
Build that mental endurance. Got it. Okay, final trap. Trap #10. The neglect of active listening practice.
This one ties everything together, really.
It sounds fundamental. Active listening.
Okay.
It's more than just hearing, right? It's about really engaging.
Absolutely. Active listening means fully immersing yourself in what's being said. It's not passive reception. It's actively processing, questioning, connecting with the message and the speaker. It's a deliberate mental effort.
And the trap is just not doing it. Letting sound wash over you.
Exactly. Passive listening, where you hear the sounds, but your brain isn't really working to understand or retain the information, doesn't actually improve your skills much, if at all. It's like having a book open in front of you while you're daydreaming. You're technically reading, but nothing's going in.
Right. No real learning is happening.
No. Active listening, on the other hand, is where the real learning happens. It's crucial for building deep comprehension, for remembering what you hear, and ultimately for feeling confident in your ability to understand spoken English. Your brain has to be engaged.
So how do we ensure we're being active listeners, not passive hearers?
One great technique is to constantly formulate internal questions as you listen. Ask yourself things like, what's the main point here? Why are they telling me this? How does this relate to what they said earlier? Do I agree with this? That internal dialogue keeps your brain switched on and analyzing.
Like having a conversation with the audio in your head.
Kind of, yes. Another powerful tool is practicing mental paraphrasing. After someone says something significant, or after a short chunk of audio, quickly restate the core idea in your own words in your head. If they say, the company's profits soared due to the new marketing campaign, you might think, okay, marketing worked, they made more money.
Forces you to process the meaning.
It forces you to process and internalize the meaning, not just echo the words. It makes it stick much better.
And in actual conversations.
In real conversations, respond actively. Show you're engaged. Use nonverbal cues, nod, make eye contact, lean in slightly. Use brief verbal affirmations like, okay, right, got it, interesting.
Show you're tracking.
Exactly. It not only reassures the speaker, but also helps keep you focused and actively involved in the exchange.
Good point.
And finally, make it a habit to regularly summarize. After listening to a podcast segment, watching a news report, or even after an important conversation, take a moment to quickly summarize the key takeaways, either out loud to yourself or by jotting down a few bullet points.
Cements the understanding.
It really does. It reinforces what you learned, helps organize the information in your mind, and boosts recall significantly. It turns listening into a more concrete learning experience.
Okay, scenario for active versus passive listening.
You're in a team meeting. Your manager says, for Q3, we need to pivot our strategy towards enhancing customer retention.
Okay.
If you're passively listening, you might just nod, hear the words, but maybe be thinking about your emails. If you're actively listening, you'd process that as, right, focus shift for the next 3 months. Less focus on new customers, more on keeping existing ones happy. What does that mean for my project?
You're connecting it, applying it.
Exactly. That active processing ensures you actually understand the implication and remember it, ready to act on it.
Big difference. And a final practical exercise for active listening.
Try this daily habit. Listen to a short news bulletin, maybe just 2 or 3 minutes long. As soon as it finishes, immediately try to summarize the main story or stories in just 2 or 3 sentences. Do it consistently. It takes hardly any time, but it constantly flexes and strengthens those active listening muscles, processing, synthesizing, summarizing. It makes active listening your default mode. 3, crafting your personalized listening success plan.
Wow, okay. We have covered so much ground. We've unpacked 10 common traps and explored some really practical ways to avoid them.
Lots to think about.
Definitely. So now let's try and pull all these threads together. Synthesize these ideas into maybe a personalized plan for success. Because ultimately, mastering English listening, it is a skill, isn't it? Like learning guitar or becoming a good cook.
Absolutely. It takes time, practice, and the right approach.
And it really does require that consistent effort. Definitely patience with yourself. And this feels important, finding some enjoyment in it too.
Crucial. If it feels only like a chore, it's hard to stick with it. So thinking about that holistic approach, that ongoing improvement, first, we'd really encourage you to set attainable goals.
Small steps.
Small, manageable steps. Aim for progress, not perfection. Maybe today's goal is just understand the main idea of this 5-minute podcast segment, or recognize one idiom I learned last week. These small, consistent wins build momentum and confidence much better than setting huge, overwhelming goals.
Makes sense. What else?
Definitely vary your resources. Don't just listen to the same type of thing day in, day out.
Maybe sit up.
Mix it up. Listen to podcasts on different subjects. Watch movies from different countries. Try audiobooks. Listen to music. Talk to different people. Even just overhear conversations respectfully.
Keep it fresh.
Keep it fresh. Variety keeps your brain engaged, exposes you to different speeds, accents, and topics, and frankly, makes the whole process much more interesting.
And we need to remember to acknowledge small victories.
Bro, absolutely vital for motivation. Please celebrate your progress no matter how small it feels. Did you understand a joke in a sitcom for the first time? Did you follow a fast speaker for a whole minute without getting lost? Did you successfully use context to guess a new word?
Those are big deals.
They are big deals. Acknowledge them. Give yourself a mental pat on the back. It reinforces the positive behavior and keeps you going.
And linked to that, I think, is cultivating self-compassion.
So important.
This is hard. Learning to listen well in a new language is challenging. You need to be kind to yourself.
Absolutely. Remind yourself often that even native speakers mishear things, get confused by accents, or miss words in noisy places. It's normal. Mistakes aren't failures, they're just feedback. They show you where you need a bit more practice. They are an essential part of the learning process. Don't beat yourself up.
Good reminder. And finally,
and perhaps the most crucial piece of advice, engage in daily practice.
consistency is key.
Consistency truly is king here. The cumulative effect of regular, focused effort is enormous. Even just 10 or 15 minutes of focused listening every day, a short news clip, one song you analyze, a quick chat, a podcast segment, will yield far greater results over time than trying to cram in hours once a week. Make it a habit. Outro.
So there you have it. Hopefully you can see now that English listening doesn't have to feel like this impossible, daunting challenge. By really understanding and learning to recognize these common pitfalls we talked about, whether it's getting stuck on every word, being thrown by accents, confused by homophones, distracted by noise, relying too much on subtitles, panicking at speed, ignoring nonverbal cues, missing slang, tuning out, or just forgetting to listen actively. You really can take control of your learning journey. You can become a much more confident and insightful listener.
That's absolutely right. The heart of it all really comes down to staying curious, putting in that deliberate, focused practice, using strategies like the ones we discussed, and importantly, trying to enjoy the process. Embrace it as an adventure. See every listening opportunity, even the challenging ones, as a chance to connect more deeply with the language and the incredibly diverse ways people use it all over the world.
You really can do this. Armed with these insights, you're more than ready to take your English listening skills to the next level. We really hope this deep dive was helpful and maybe even a little bit inspiring for you.
We hope so too.
If you found value in our chat today, we'd be thrilled if you'd like this video, maybe share it with a friend or classmate who might also find it useful. And of course, please subscribe to our Learn English Lab YouTube channel for more deep dives into English learning.
Thanks for tuning in.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep listening, and keep diving deep.